Welcome to Chew the Fat. I am your host, Smoove, and today we are going to get into a Brittany Renner video. The saga continues. This time she's actually interviewed by Just Pearly Things. Now I'm going to show you a video of some clips of Brittany Renner just in case you haven't seen my other video about her or if you just need a reminder as to a little bit of her character. So we're going to jump right into that video right now just for context so you can see the lies.
My experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, I mean, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb.
What would your future kids think if they saw your Instagram? This is why you're single. Oh, I bet your dad is proud. I never claimed to be a saint. I enjoy sucking dick and saying the things that you're too afraid to say out loud too much to ever change.
In all honesty, safe sex is the best sex. I can't even say it with a straight face because it's a lie. But it is like you really don't add a body.
There was one time where I thought I was, being Billy Badass and I fucked 3 guys in a week. Had a mean yeast infection. That's not funny. But it wasn't funny. But looking back at it, I can laugh now.
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player I'm fucking. I love watching basketball. It's just way more interesting when there's someone on the team that I'm linked to, but I don't really have a favorite. I'm for the streets because I've moved on from relationships.
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player I'm fucking.
But I'm here to tell you I am so not sorry.
Okay, so that's enough of that. I just wanted you to have the context now because she's going to spit some nonsense here. I didn't get through this entire video because it's, as you can see, an hour and 43 minutes, and we're definitely not doing that tonight. We're going to get through as much as we can. If you guys are feeling this, you let me know down in the comments if you would like a part 2. Just comment part 2, and I will continue the saga of Brittany Renner, this time including Just Pearly Things. Those of us who are not familiar with Just Pearly Things, she's actually taken the manosphere / red pill community by storm. She is pretty much the top female, period, right now. At least the most popular, even if you don't like her, that's indisputable. She is the most popular female in the red pill / manosphere space. That's just what it is. She's very big. Her subscriber base is growing extremely rapidly, and she's got some serious heavy hitters. Brittany Renner, it's a good sign that you're doing well when she tries to come on your show. She's also had Coach Greg Adams, and she just did an interview with Andrew Tate, which hasn't been released yet. But we're going to get right into it. I'd like to hear it. Here it goes.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel, and welcome to Sit Downs with Pearl, where I sit down with some guests from my show. We talk about different stuff. Today, I have a special guest, Brittany Renner.
Hi.
The man, the woman, the myth, the legend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So, today, we're going to talk about, you are one of the most notorious people in the manosphere.
Okay.
And I think that I kind of represent that average viewer that, knows a bit about you, but not the whole story.
Okay.
So I was hoping to start from the beginning. How did this reputation come about? And do you feel like it is deserved?
I do feel that it's deserved because what I've come to understand is that I have misrepresented myself for a very long time. And I would say that my villain origin story was I had first moved to LA in 2014, was linking up with someone after my breakup with a guy I was with for 4 years. And TMZ put out an article and claimed that I said I was pregnant by Colin Kaepernick, right?
Wait, okay, so you're with a guy for 4 years.
We break up.
From high school?
From college.
From college.
Yeah.
And you said 18?
18 what?
When you moved at 18.
I moved to LA in 2014.
Oh, 2014.
Yes.
Okay. And how old were you?
I think maybe 21, 22.
Okay, 21, 20. And you were dating Colin Kaepernick at the time?
I wouldn't.
That's pretty high
Hooking up.
profile.
Whatever.
Lincoln?
Lincoln. Let's just say Lincoln.
Sneaky Lincoln?
At the time.
He was smashing.
And with that, they had photoshopped a picture. I had like posted him for like my Man Crush Monday. This is like Instagram a long time ago when there was Woman Crush Wednesdays, Man Crush Monday.
Remember those.
You remember that? Yeah.
Okay.
So I had posted him and I put like perfection and then I added him. And again, why I posted on my Instagram? Great question. But someone had photoshopped the image. Media Takeout, I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they had posted it and then TMZ ran the story. And I felt like from that moment on, I was labeled a villain. And you have to understand, I was in a relationship for 4 years. Like, most people know the white guy that I used to date. We used to post together.
We got to stop you right there, Brittany Renner. Nobody really believes anything from Media Takeout. Let's just be honest. They have a reputation for making up stories. So people take what they say with a grain of salt. So we can't really say that that's what started it. And secondly, I just showed you a bunch of clips. Now you tell me what you believe. Do you believe it's because Media Takeout made some story up from a random person who photoshopped a photo with her and Colin Kaepernick and TMZ aired it? Is that believable, or could it possibly be some of these videos that you saw about her and the things that she does to and with men? Let me know in the comments below.
He's the reason I got into fitness. And I was already labeled a villain, a whore, and was accused of something that I didn't do.
And so what did you not do? So they were
So
saying
I had
you
put
guys...
perfection at his username, and they photoshopped it to say preggers at his username. So they were like, saying, oh, this girl claims that she's...
They were saying that you claimed that you were...
Yes.
Okay.
And I actually looked it up. I have a screenshot too. I looked it up last night to see if the article was still up, and it's still up. So at that moment in time, I realized that even though per society standards, I was someone who, low body count. No, I had not talked to any famous guy, never been around. I had a big following. An ideal situation, right? Starting out in Hollywood, already labeled a whore, a liar, a gold digger. So when I think about...
Maury, what you think?
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
We don't believe you. What are the odds of the first time you ever step onto the scene? Right? This is before social media was really banging like that. So, people would have had to go on their computers and stuff. Now they're saying that one little picture, people just labeled you as a whore. That's not really believable. Not at all. If it's your first time people ever saw you, like, come on, man. We're not buying that nonsense, man. We're really not going to buy that. That's a no. That's a no. There's no way it started that way. Carry on.
How my origin story began, like my villain origin story, it was that. Because it's like, I haven't even done anything and I'm already misunderstood. So I think as time progressed, I really just tried to fake it till I could make it. And inside, I never, like, especially in high school, like growing up, I never felt like I was just top tier beautiful, because I just wasn't. I was growing into myself. I always had really bad skin, over-fried my hair, always wearing extensions, never feeling pretty as even my natural self, like where I am now. So how I started even like posting videos and being maybe like overly sexual was because I was like, I want to feel like this bad bitch.
So again, I've only seen like clips of you.
Okay.
I've seen a couple car rants.
Okay.
So
Yeah, the car rants.
Seen a couple car rants. I know you released a book.
Yeah, in 2018.
Yeah, and I know that I saw the stuff you did with Fresh and Fit, PJ Academics, like there's little interviews here and there.
Yeah.
So when we go back to you said 2014.
Yes, 2014.
When you're in LA. So then did you start dating Kaepernick?
I would just say that I started like dating, period. Like I kind of just opened it up. It's not like we were exclusive, whatever. So I would say that the villain came about was I was a small town girl from Mississippi. Like to even be in certain rooms with people where it was unheard of.
just watch how many times that she breaks eye contact. Anybody who knows a little bit about body language and human behavior will tell you that when people start to break eye contact, particularly when they look to the left, it's cap. It's cap.
That was a lie.
We're going to carry on.
Never thought these guys would even know I existed. So I felt like there was still that like starry-eyed element where I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I had been like thrown into Disney World, so to speak, right? Like the world is at your fingertips, and again, all of these high-value men are now seeking you. And again, I'm a girl from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. People don't even probably know where that is. So I think that's where over-sexualizing myself and really pitching into that's like the whole bad bitch, like wanting to feel like something I didn't.
So were you sleeping with a lot of these guys and then like posting stuff on social media? Okay.
No, actually, like I said, besides that post where I had, made him my man crush Monday, I didn't even say that we were dating. It's not like I was like, hey, look at me, here I am at a game or here I am at his house. Like, it wasn't that. It was just, that's how everything started out.
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand, because there's one article that's a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of recover from one article, in my opinion anyway. But there was more that happened in between. Yeah. What happened next?
Because I'm saying this because this is literally on like TMZ. So after that, when I was talking to him, I kind of moved on because I'm like, whatever, you're robotic, we move on. Kind of got caught up with Trey Songz. So TMZ was like asking him questions.
Sugar! Shout to Trey Songz. Homeboy just turned himself in yesterday for allegedly putting hands on 2 ladies in public. Wild boy. Trey Songz, man. Not a good guy to get wrapped up with because he's got the drama no matter what. He's always got accusations. Always got accusations. This dude must be a savage. I don't know how much of it is true, but you have way more accusations than average. Carry on.
About because like my fitness group was like the Fit Thick Army. So then I was linked to him, right? Okay. So then that's kind of where it just started to.
So then you started.
Shit wouldn't work out. I would move on. Okay. And then like I especially when I first got on social media, it was a different place, right? Early 20s, guys from all over. I mean, it was just I would entertain one at a time though. That was like my thing. So I was like, when I'm done with you, I'm gonna move on. And then it just became. So unsuccessful relationships, and I moved on.
Okay, so it was just like you were linked with rapper, entertainer.
A lot of my shit was public, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, she's a whore, but it's like
those wonder eyes.
There's articles where someone took a picture of me at the movie theater with a guy. That's out of my control. So I would say now. When you've kind of figured out how the world works, you try to be a bit more mindful about who you even step out with, but you can't control if people take pictures of you.
Were you posting?
I'm just going to let you know something real quick about Just Pearly things. Once she's doing that, she doesn't care what you talking about. She already has a response preloaded and ready to fire. She is pretty much powering up at that point, Dragon Ball Z style. That's what's happening. So just know that's what's going on. She already knew you was with the cap and she was ready to fire. But we're gonna go ahead.
Any of these guys yourself? So you never posted?
No, because we weren't exclusive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna post somebody that's my man. Again, I'm a 21, 22-year-old posted that man crush Monday. That's obviously very childish, right? But all these other guys, I didn't post them on my page. So
then basically. Because you were linked to all these different guys
publicly,
publicly, now that's when the reputation started to build. Then, so this is where. So then the book comes. Tell me.
2018, yeah.
And from what I know, I haven't read the book. Okay. What I know of the book is that you basically exposed a lot of people in the book. This is just what I've heard. You
see what's happening is. She is following Corinne Steffens, better known as Superhead's footsteps. She was able to get that off. She has a way better resume than Brittany Renner as far as the athlete's status and all of these superstars who she's been with. It was ridiculous. I don't think anybody would have a more impressive stack sheet than she did. And not to mention, she had a patented skill that she was known for, hence the name Superhead. So Brittany Renner didn't have the resume, and no one ever boasted about a patented skill that she had either. So she couldn't really live up to Corinne Steffens. I mean, she did try to go ahead and do the book, and that's cool. But at the end of the day, I think that Corinne Superhead Steffens ruined it for everyone because she outed everybody. She wrote this book, and people understand, like, once your name gets around a bit and they see how you are and you're a little bit too popular, people start to stay away from you, because one thing that celebrities appreciate is discretion. They like their privacy as much as they really can't get it. They definitely can't have that in their love life, especially if they have a significant other. And she is the self-proclaimed queen side chick. That is her. Brittany Renner is the side chick, according to her own words. There are videos of that. She has a whole chicken commercial where she's advertising, say, yeah, the best side chick. That's what she does. Carry on.
Basically, all the stuff you'd been doing, you put in the book.
Mhm.
And while you might not have said their names exactly, it was pretty easy for people to figure out who they were.
Okay, well, I didn't expose anyone.
Technically.
My book was like a 25-year-old memoir, basically. And I didn't list all of these sexapades. So there were seven people, fake names, 7 relationships, like situationships, whatever you want to call them, and what I learned from that. So there was a lot of, my book was about sharing my story and being accountable. The most like salacious stories or sexapades, they weren't even in there because it wasn't, a lot of these guys, it was
you
a
can
pivotal.
tell now if you want.
I'm sorry?
I said you can tell now if you want.
Yeah, I mean.
I'm just kidding.
So I mean, it's just kind of like, that was never my intention. My book never had ill intent. Now, again, I know the salacious marketing was intentional because I knew people were thinking I'm gonna.
It's like a thumbnail.
It's clickbait. Like, look at all of these guys are in here. Because I know you're gonna fucking buy the book. But when people actually read it, any person who's read my book is like, wait, this is completely different than how you pitched it, and it really is a book about accountability. So those 7 people really helped.
See, the problem is that you didn't just pitch the book. You pitched a lifestyle to young, impressionable women. You set the example. You tried your best to be the ambassador for 304s. This was what it was. You wanted women to be sexually liberated, and this is how you did it. These are the consequences. Now people of value will avoid you. They know to stay away from you. You're putting out books of people. You think you're going to have good results after you put books about people with your intimate details? Come on now. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Nobody wants to be a part of that. Carry on.
Were like pivotal moments for me. So again, I took what came with the salacious marketing. And again, misrepresenting myself is just that, right? So you have to accept what comes behind that. So I wanted to sell a book. I had no problem with doing, using my tactics to get copies sold. And what came with that is she's not trustworthy. She's a whore, and that's all she cares about is money. She's just a quick money grab. Like, she's a girl that cannot be trusted.
Stupid.
And I understand that. If you've never read my book, it's like what I'm saying doesn't even make sense. Because like you would actually have to physically read it. That's why the book is called Judge This Cover. You're going to do that anyways. There are people that just took little snippets from each chapter and judge me off of that. You're talking about this guy I was talking about getting spitting in his mouth or paying for flights. That was one that was circulating on Twitter. I talked about how I paid for my own flights. So it's like, I'm such a gold digger. Why?
Wait, did she just say spitting in his mouth? Whoa, 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 whoa. That's how she getting down. Oh man, she was like seriously out there. She with the ish, man. Let's carry on. I don't want to get too distracted here.
I pay for my flights. So there's just things in there that I felt like people did not want to understand me. You didn't open the book, so your opinion doesn't fucking matter about the book. Read it and then tell me how you feel about me. You know, that's kind of how I feel with that.
So then you write the book. Were any of the people that were in the book mad that you wrote the book?
The conversations I've had, because there's maybe like two guys in there that I have not spoken to, right? The other 5 I've had conversations with since. One of the people had actually asked me to market them as one of the people in it. They didn't mind that. Okay. Other guys in my life, just in general, were asked like why they weren't in it. They were like sad, right? But most of the guys I had a good relationship with, like we're still cool. So they understood that was my experience, that was my perspective, and that was that. I mean, there was one chapter I spoke to recently. He was like, I was just waiting for you to say my name so I could have sued you for everything, right? And I'm just like, well, that wasn't my plan. Like, I wasn't trying to hurt you. But he was like, I understood your perspective, and I get it. He said you didn't lie in it. So.
Okay, so none of the guys had hurt feelings over the book.
No.
Okay. Well, so that seems, because I kind of thought, like from what I had heard, is that some of the guys maybe weren't happy they were in the book.
I'm sure they weren't, but I think the people that weren't happy about it, the 2 that I'm thinking of in my mind, I just haven't spoken to them. Okay. You know, the other 5 I did. So.
How convenient. Bro.
The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Stop playing with me, man. Just Pearly things is catching her, though. She's being really nice about it, which is cool because it's encouraging and it doesn't feel as bad. She's just letting it happen because she knows what's going to happen. She knows people are going to pick this video apart and catch Brittany Renner and all her lies because a lot of people have way more information about her than she thinks. Most of us know more about Brittany Renner than Just Pearly things, to be honest, because she's not super familiar with pop culture and all of these 304s by name and everything. I'm sure she's done some research, but we've been watching her for years do this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? We've been on it. We already know what's up with her, man. Whew. But she caught her in that lie, for real, for real. Let me know down in the comments what y'all think about that. While you like the video, it definitely will help the channel. We appreciate you for it. If you've watched it thus far, you probably like the video, so hit that thing for me. We appreciate you for it.
Oh, you know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how they would feel.
So
now.
You don't think like, because I'm just thinking, I just know how the guys are going to see it. Like, you're choosing to publicly link with these people, and maybe you didn't want it to be public, but it's like, if you're making a choice to go after the like rappers, athletes, like that sort of thing, of course people are going to call you a hoe.
And that's fine.
Yeah. And no, that's the thing. You don't shy away from that.
Yeah.
But it goes back to my original question, whether you think it's earned or not. Or it's like misrepresenting you or not.
Well, I think I have misrepresented myself because, again, Bundle of Brittany is like her own, that's like a Frankenstein I have created, right? Okay. And that's like a fraction, even just the time we've spent the past few days together, probably very different than what you've seen online, you know? So that's what I have used to get views and get clicks, and I've realized that I don't have to do that anymore. So that's where the misrepresentation comes in. But again, a hoe, and I guess is in this sphere, right, is someone who has sex with multiple guys. Okay, well, then that's not a term I'm going to shy away from. I've had sex with multiple guys. Now, I'm not going to take that word and be like, I'm so unworthy, I'm a whore. Yeah. It just is what it is. Like, that's how they want to distinguish what category women fall under. I got no problem with that. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, I've had sex with multiple guys. It didn't work out. I moved on, you know?
Okay, so that part you don't necessarily feel like was misrepresented based on how the guys would see it.
How they would
see it. Okay.
I get it.
Okay. So then next, this is where I heard of you first.
Okay.
What she's kind of trying to do here is she's making it seem as if it's just guys' perception, but like it's not reality. Like she's not really a 304. This is just how the gentleman would look at it. There's no accountability there. She's not taking accountability here. She's trying to make it look like she is, but she's saying she accepts it, right? But what are you accepting? You're accepting the way that these gentlemen happen to perceive you? Or are you accepting the fact that that's what it is that you are and what it is that you do for real? Carry on.
Let's talk about PJ.
Okay.
So you do the book. Is PJ next, or is there something in between?
Meaning like when we met?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so we met. He actually came to my hosting in 2018, May of 2018. So that's like physically where we first met. It was not romantic. Like I literally had a job there. He's like, hey, I'm gonna come by. Okay, cool. He invited me to his game at UK, February 2019. Right. So we met. I went back for my birthday, so I went to 2 Kentucky games, and that's when we first started talking. Like after my birthday, we talked almost every single day. And I was aware, like, he was younger than me. I always had a lot of judgment towards guys who were younger than me because I'm like, you're younger than me. How can you handle me? You know, right? But I always felt like PJ saw me for me. And that is the fucking God honest truth. It makes me sad even thinking about it. Because, like, I don't know, you just think people get you and it just doesn't work out. So that's why I overlooked some of those things, like the age. Oh, he's about to be in the NBA. I overlooked that because I felt like, oh my God, I finally have a guy who doesn't judge me, who sees me for me and like accepts it and understands my value. So I felt like he would.
What? He understands your value. No, he misunderstood your value. He's a young guy. Young guy, look when you got him. A baby. Come on now. You wailed in this cat. That's like cougar status, pretty much. Predatorial, if that were the opposite genders. No, if a man were that old and he went for a woman that young, then he would be recognized as a predator. No, that's the standard, right? So what she was doing, and you just got to understand, she posted a photo telling the moms to hide their sons. She knew exactly what she was doing. What PJ Washington from the Charlotte Hornets failed to realize was what type of woman she was. And I'll keep it G. Me, at a very early age, before I got hip to game, a chick like that would have got my ass too. I wouldn't know what to do. I'd have been like, what? You know, and then he realized as he started to grow, get a little more exposure. She got him before he got to the NBA. And then he probably met like 50 women a day, just like her, that do the same things that she does, that a really, really young guy trying to get into the NBA, aspiring to be in the NBA, would be attracted to. But once you're exposed to things, you're exposed to different women, you're exposed to different situations and scenarios, you grow, you mature, you understand what's important about women, and it ain't what she got. Now that's important for flings, but that is not important for wifey. And that's where he made the mistake. That was infatuation, but he didn't know what to do with it. He had the means to get married, no problem. But he didn't have the know-how. He didn't have the knowledge. He changed his mind once he realized that this is not what you value in a woman. He was young and dumb. That's why she decided to take advantage of him. She figured perfect candidate. Did you watch the first part of that car rant? That video that we showed in the beginning? Yeah, just get with an athlete. They're dumb. None of them use protection. That's what she was on. That's what she was on. We can't forget that you knew about that. This is stuff that you posted. This is the mindset you had before you met him. And we don't think that lepers change their spots that easily. If you just said that you were going to do that or said that people should do that, then you wind up pregnant by an NBA player. When you told women to go ahead and get pregnant by an NBA player to get a bag, right? That's what you said. You said this. And then now that happens. What do you think we're going to look at you like? Are you kidding me? Carry on.
Was somebody that like deserved all my time and attention. And, you know, it just didn't end up working out long term.
So, and how old was he when it started? How old
Because
were you?
you're not a long-term
Because this
lady.
is the narrative.
20.
I've got
Yeah.
a million questions
God,
about you.
about the age thing, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
About you grooming. Like they said,
Yes,
because
that I'm a pedophile, predator, all that.
What, just to give context to the viewers at home, if you guys don't know anything about Brittany, I saw a video of you where you were in the car saying this is basically how you can get a kid off of an NBA player.
Yeah.
And it's really easy because these guys don't wear condoms, and it's something to that effect.
Perfect.
So then, a couple years later, when you have a kid off an NBA player, it's not a good look,
Right.
and especially that he's a lot younger than you. So what did you feel like was misrepresented there?
So to give a little bit more context to the video too, especially I think I made this video in 2018 and I was in my car ranting, like I always do. And people were saying that, you're a gold digger, you're this and you're that. And my way to defend myself.
And this was that when you also said that you pay for your own flights too? I was just wondering.
I would have to go to my archive and play the video in its entirety to be able to confirm that.
Okay.
Because there were other times I talked about paying for my flights. But in that video,
she's got to go back to the video to confirm that. Pay attention to the body language. Anybody notice anything other than her eyes, which are a dead giveaway? Please put that down in the comments. She's lying like a mother, man. Like, what? Come on, bro. Nobody believes you, man. Nobody believes you.
Video, I was saying that if I really was a gold digger, I could have several kids by now. And so it was an attempt to make a group of people look bad, and I made myself look even worse. Because I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm a gold digger. These athletes don't use condoms. I could have a baby by them, right? It aged horribly, right? and I don't ever try to deny that, and I don't do apology towards it. It is what it is. I said what I said. Like, that was my truth. That was my experience. The people that I was encountering, it's not even like an athlete thing. A lot of guys don't wear condoms, but it was surprising to me that people of such high status were a little bit more reckless, right? And for
because you think they have so much to lose.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly what it is, right? It's like, why do you trust me, right?
Yeah.
And as a young person, and you're not even a young person.
So in your head, you were saying, like, fuck the haters. I could have a kid. None of these people, if you wanted to catch a kid by an NBA player.
It's really easy because they're dumb, right? So that's where the context of that video, right? And then I met PJ, like, we started talking when he was 20 years old. We have a 6-year age gap.
Okay, so you're 26.
Yeah.
20. I'm 26.
I'm just going to tell you something about men. We are wired to procreate. So that's going to happen. You see a baddie, right, who possesses the traits of a desirable female. You're going to try to procreate. It's just in your DNA, man. Unless you have the discipline, you have to have a serious amount of discipline. I know some people who were very much into basketball professional level, and from what I hear, they give them classes on how to deal with 304s like this and how to avoid them and what not to do and how not to get trapped. So from what I understand, these men are very prepared for situations like this, but sometimes biology wins the fight and decisions are made that should not be made. Carry on.
Thinking 20-year-olds are pretty immature.
But I'm telling you, when I met him, I just felt like, and his, like, genuinely, he had an old soul. That's how I felt about him. So a lot of people tried to, like, I don't know, I feel like they tried to tell me how I felt and, like, my intentions. And it's like, I know the truth. Like, I know the person that I was sitting across from at BJ's when we had our first date in Kentucky and Lexington. Like, you can't tell me that, you know?
I personally think 20 is...
At BJ's. Oh, man, no pun intended. But look, what I'm going to say about Brittany Renner, man, she is really an excellent representation of what a Jezebel-like woman is. She has the skills, man. She got the mouthpiece because she's not one of these little ratchet joints that just, don't know how to talk. She got game with her. I know she was able to seduce and manipulate these young men and sometimes older men. She can entice them and everything else. She know how to get into these rooms. She does this with intent. She is not playing. She's a dangerous woman. That's why she was able to get her hands on all this. And if she would have kept her mouth shut, she would have been able to have a long run. I think she probably had a good, at least 5 to 8 years left in her, to be honest, because she's aging relatively well. She would have been able to have a nice run on this and been really good to go. And from what I understand, these players really take care of you and your lifestyle. She really could have been doing what it do. But she wanted to run her mouth. She went to follow Superhead, write a book about it, and post all on social media because she can't just do her job. She wanted to be an attention seeker. She wanted the attention for doing it, and it wasn't even necessary. If she had a little bit of discretion, some of these dudes don't even care that you're dealing with a whole bunch of other men and stuff as long as they're within the crew. But she had to go ahead and put everything out on Front Street, and that's where she really ruined it. The main thing that people appreciate about a lady of the night or a worker, which is what I would classify her as, to be honest, right? One of these 304s. What happens is, if they are discreet, sometimes your mans might even pass you. Yo, this joint right here, yeah, she legit. Boom, boom, boom. Well, she be running her mouth? Nah, she know what time it is. Oh, word, I'm gonna get her a call. What she charge? You could have got your bag. You just don't know how to play it right. You went about it all wrong. A lot of people think that you have to go in with some serious ill intent all the time. You don't have to. If you know how to play the game, sometimes you could just be forthcoming and you'll get what you want. If you got what they want. Fair exchange ain't never robbery. Carry on.
It's old enough to make your own decision.
Yes.
I put myself when I was 20, and I'm thinking you can't really be groomed at 20 years old. But for some reason, I feel like back then they said that something about you met him in high school.
I did not even know he existed.
Okay.
I didn't. Like,
Or
and
you
honestly,
saw him, did you see him play in high school?
never.
Okay.
I don't, but that's what I'm saying. The $200,000 a month, the meeting him when he was in high school. Again, like, even when I first was, like, I met PJ when I went to Kentucky, I was talking to someone who played on the Nuggets at the time. And it was someone that I kind of had a history with. And when I met PJ and we had that connection, I immediately cut the guy from the Nuggets off. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I have my own shit going. I did not know he existed when he was in fucking high school. What? I'm pulling heavy hitters. What am I worried about a fucking kid in high school for? But that's where people just make up their own.
Because he's the only one dumb enough to get you pregnant and give you that meal ticket. He's the only one dumb enough. All these other guys were hip to the game. They probably did use protection or at least practiced withdrawal. Withdrawal is an underrated method. I'm not telling you guys you should practice it, but it's better than nothing. Carry on.
Shit. So it's like, well, I can't really. You guys are going to say what the fuck you want to say. All I can do is sit here and tell you the truth, you know?
So 20, you guys start talking. When did you get pregnant?
Truth.
I got pregnant.
And you were with him for how long? And
So we talked.
Were you guys dating or were you like linking?
No, we were exclusive when I got pregnant. So we talked from February 2019 to February 2020. Now, I don't know what he was doing, who he was doing it with, whatever. But we started dating February 2020. I left California April of 2020, and I moved in with him. I had my own place, but I was staying in his apartment. We were basically kind of living together already. He asked me to move in with him in the summertime. I got pregnant August 2020. So we had been a year and a half at least familiar with one another, but exclusive probably those 6-8 months.
6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
And did you say, was the child planned?
Yeah. I mean, my son is Paul Jermaine Washington III.
Okay.
Like, so he has his father's name.
You guys sat down and said, I want to have a kid.
Yes. And I was on birth control for 10 years because I never wanted to go through an abortion. That was just me personally. I'm like, well, if I can prevent it, and I'd rather be safe. And again, like, I'm hot, I'm popping, I got shit going on. I'm definitely not trying to have anybody's child, right? So I got off birth control. And there was a conversation, got off birth control, I got pregnant. So it wasn't some, oops, I came in you and you got pregnant. Like, no, it was, I want a family, I want a child, we're going to get married.
Has
Now,
PJ
see, here's the
ever
whole
done
thing, right? What about?
Are you not entertained?
What about marry before you carry? You know what I'm saying? If you want a family and you want that security, why not try that first before you just jump off of birth control? If there was a real conversation had, and here's what I'm going to tell you about that, right? With NBA players and such, your endorsements are better when you are considered a family man, including marriage. Having children out of wedlock is not as good as someone who is married for advertisers. So I don't think, and this is just my thoughts, this is not necessarily the truth. We don't know. But when you put everything together that we do know, the facts that we do have, it really doesn't look like he did that on purpose. I don't think they had a conversation about the whole family thing and all that. It's possible, but not probable. We're going to carry on.
like interviews on this
No.
at all? No. I'm just curious. Would he say the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the truth is the truth.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, there's some things like, again, we can share perspective,
Right.
but the facts of the matter are he was planned. So that can't even be disputed. You know, I always thought PJ was like kind of quiet and more to himself. So I don't actually see him ever really doing an interview. Like, I feel like now when we broke up, how everything panned out was like very public and out of character from what I knew of him. But I don't foresee him doing an interview. I don't.
Okay. So you guys.
Breaker.
All right. Just so you know, he's not going to do an interview because there is no gain for him. But what you have to understand is it's a contractual obligation for NBA players to give interviews, period. So he knows how to interview. He's not too quiet for an interview. He knows how to interview. He's just not going to do an interview about that because it's of no gain. And he doesn't really value the situation that much. There's nothing for him to gain by doing that. Not because he's quiet, but because he knows better. And he knows it's not going to help him or his career. He's now smarter than that. Carry on.
Breakup. Or no, you're together. Tell me, how'd you guys split up? And you can be as detailed or not detailed as you want. You don't have to go into.
Okay. There were some things, like, so I had never gone through anybody's phone. And like because at the time I was 28, right?
Girl, you were dealing
That was
with
a lie.
athletes?
I never went through anybody's phone
Never.
except PJ's.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Because I felt like if I
and just so you know, Just Pearly things, she's real nice about it. She's really nice about it, but she's slick. She asked her the question probably 3 times, right? You never went to never. Like this is what she's doing right here. And I understand it because she don't believe you. She don't believe you. And that's going to raise doubt. Even if she didn't say that, I would have doubted it because that's just not practical. Females do that, or at least try to do that. She's making it seem like she never was off that. Get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. And the only reason she may not have, if she never did, is because she was the side chick. Self-proclaimed side chick. And had no right. Carry on.
have to go through your phone,
Yeah.
I already have my answer, right? And I'm not doing that. I'm not playing fucking detective, right? So I went through his phone. Again, this was the summer, like, a few months before I got pregnant. Found some stuff in his phone I didn't like. Nothing confirmed. I mean, you're just entertaining bitches. Like, okay. I had never been cheated on that I knew of, right? And I found out stuff that, like, he had sex with someone in the beginning of our relationship. But I'm fine. This was in March. You slept with this girl. I found out July. I'd already moved my whole life. I'm already here. Okay, well,
you moved from LA.
How about that?
Yeah, because I moved from Woodland Hills. I had a condo in Woodland Hills, and I moved all my whole life to Charlotte, North Carolina to be with him, right?
Okay.
So I found out some stuff. I'm like, okay, you fucked this girl in March. All right. I love you, and I know what you've seen growing up. I've never forgiven anyone because I've never caught anyone cheating on me, but like I understand your family dynamic, so I can I choose to understand and to forgive you. And so one of my best friends, when we were talking about how we were like basically trying to get pregnant, she was like, "Do you think it's a good idea? Because you just found out all this stuff." Right? Like the voice of reason, right? And she's like, "I don't think that's a good foundation." And I was just like, "No, I trust who I'm with. Like, I get it. Like, we've talked about it. I understand." And he is younger than me, right? He's younger than me. I'm gonna try this. I've never done this, but I'm just gonna try to overlook it and move on. So with that knowledge, again, this is where I take accountability too. I saw behaviors, I saw red flags, and I still chose to move forward. And it's because.
But how could you get mad as a self-proclaimed side chick? How? How can you get mad as a self-proclaimed side chick? How?
Because I loved him. I don't know. I believed in him. And I guess that's where I'm a foolish woman, because I just chose to believe in him.
Yeah, girl, that's La La Land. Respectfully, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like, and we talked about this a little bit before. Yeah. I'm just thinking like an NBA player, faithful.
Exactly.
I've seen him. I said this before, but I've seen him at the D3 level. D3.
The nerve. The fucking nerve.
No, I mean, I just saw those guys would like move around campus, and it's like, that's Division III basketball. I'm thinking Division I has to be madness. The NBA has to be madness. Yeah. And firsthand, you've been dealing with these guys for like a decade. You know it's madness.
It is, and that's just where I kind of just take it on the chin, and I'm like, I believed in someone, and it just didn't work out, and I know, and he knows, the conversations and the consistency that I thought, you know, like this was more than enough for me to trust it. I just believed in him, and I can accept my responsibility in that for over.
Okay, so dig it, man. This video is hella long. We've only gotten through about 30% of the video, roughly. So, that's only like 25 minutes out of an hour and 43. If you guys are digging this, man, you let me know. I'll do a part 2. If you want me to finish the whole one and the second one, that's fine. Whatever you want, you let me know. If y'all not interested, then I'll leave this bad boy alone. But I definitely wanted to expose you to what's going on out here. This is Brittany Renner making a tour. She's been everywhere right about now. I saw her at the 8 at the Table. I've seen her on Kevin Samuels. I've seen her in a lot of places, man. She's been going hard lately. She's making a serious tour. She is making her rounds. But what I want to know from you guys is what you think of this particular video. Let me know down in the comments below if you want a part 2, part 3, or just whatever. You let me know what you want to do. And me being the slave to the mob, I got you covered. Also, let me know if you believe Brittany Renner or you just really don't. Or I'm curious to know what you guys are thinking. Until next time, stay hungry, my friends. Never thirsty.